So, before we get started, we'll just introduce ourselves. As I say, my name is David Williams. I'm a town councillor for Harpenden North Ward.
I'm Heather Scott, the officer from the town council clerks this meeting.
Hello, I'm Pip Martin, a town councillor for Harpenden.
Hello, I'm Mike Weaver. I'm a town councillor for West Ward. I'm also district councillor for West Ward, and I sit on this committee and also on Plans North in St Albans.
My name's Harry Gillam, and I'm a town councillor for Harpenden South.
Excellent. Are there any declarations of interest that anybody wants to declare? No? I am going to declare an interest. I sit on the travel forum for Randwood Park School, and as a consequence of that connection with the school, I'm just going to declare a personal non-pecuniary interest in relation to the application that's coming forward from Randwood Park School, and I'm going to take no part in that discussion. I'm going to ask Michael to chair that part of the meeting. Okay? Minutes of the last meeting. Are you happy that I sign the minutes as a true record? Yeah. Great. Right. Just give me a moment to do that. So, this evening we're considering applications that were registered during the week ending the 18th of March and the week ending the 25th of March. And can I just confirm, is everybody here interested in the Randwood Park?
I'm not.
Sorry?
I'm not.
Which application are you interested in?
The Harpenden High Street Town.
Okay. So we'll take Randwood Park first, that being in that case. So there are no letters of objection.
No, none have been received by us. No.
Right. So at that point, Mike, can I hand the chairmanship to you, and I will disappear next door.
Okay, Mark? Yes. Yeah. Give me a second. Thank you. Well, I can see it's a very well-attended meeting tonight. And I would first of all like to put you in the picture of what happened tonight, and also what will happen if and when it's likely we'll go to Plans North. Putting you in the picture. We are here, this committee tonight, Plans A, is an advisory committee. It won't make a decision. It will make a recommendation to the district council, or the officers rather, and but what we say is not binding, and it will be assessed at Plans North committee, assuming that it is called in tomorrow by the ward councillor, and he has advised me that it will be called in that hall, and if the application is likely to be granted. That means it has to be discussed by the 8 councillors at St Albans. Now, the very fact that I sit on both, and there are 2 other councillors from town councillors who also sit on that committee as well, doesn't mean that we are bound in any way whatsoever to go by any decision that is made here tonight. We in fact have to make a very firm declaration that we come to the meeting again with an open mind, with no preconceived views, and that we will consider the matter totally afresh. So I'd like to make that quite clear. So whatever is discussed tonight, we will approach the thing, any town councillor sitting on the thing from Harpenden will take a completely fresh view to this, because they will have listened to the look at the officer's report, which will come out. Now, the recommendation we make will go to district council, but that is, it will just be considered in the officer's report, and that is it. You are going to have tonight the 1 for and 1 against, the right to speak for 3 minutes to present your case. At St Albans, you have the same right as well, again 3 minutes, and you have to stick, unfortunately, strictly to that, because and you can't participate in the debate that takes place. We're a little bit more flexible here, but in St Albans it's very strict, and that's how it goes. So I think that explains, Heather, the situation of what is, because sometimes people do think that we are going to make a full and final firm decision here, and it can't be done. Right, over to you, Heather.
Yes, so if I can draw the council's attention to page 16, which is for Ranwood Park School, and I believe I have 2 speakers. I have Mrs Allard to speak against. Is Mrs Allard here? Yes, okay, and I've got Tony Smith to speak for the application. The order that will take you is Mrs Allard to speak against the application first. As Councillor Weaver said, you have 3 minutes, and then after that, Mrs Smith, if you will come up and take your seat, speak for 3 minutes. Okay, just bear with me a second, I'll just get the papers out. So Ms Allard, do you want to come up and take a seat so that the committee can... Yes, come up and take a seat just a bit.
Can I hear me there?
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Right, okay. Quite a few pages. I probably will try and restrict it to the ones which I believe will be relevant. So I've got quite a few.
Probably.
Right.
Probably know the layout, maybe.
This one here will be quite a good one because it shows the location of the pitch on the site. And this one here as well, on the house. It shows where it is in relation to the house in the yeah, that typically will be, yes, that typically will be professional. Okay, Mr. Allard, when you're ready, do you want to speak?
Okay, shall I just firstly point out that I live at 1 Claygate Avenue on the south side of the school development. Okay. Okay, so this application for an all-weather floodlit pitch is no different to the application submitted by Ranwood Park School 10 years ago. That was vigorously opposed by our county council and local residents, and nothing has changed. Except, of course, a change in favour of the school, which now has a large sports hall which provides improved facilities for physical education, and I emphasise for all students. A floodlit pitch is not essential for school life, and unlike the sports hall, will only cater for a relatively small percentage of pupils. I have taken time reading the application, its appendices, and all in all it seems a muddled application. Indeed, some documentation was added after submission. I did in fact meet with Alan Henshaw, the headmaster, a few months ago, and we spoke at length about the lie of the land, the nearby residents, traffic and noise pollution. It beggars belief that houses in Claygate Avenue and Townsend Lane were not on the council consultation list, having had such informed discussions. This leads me to conclude that the Deputy Head, Tony Smith, who has completed and submitted the application, has done so in what I regard as a business manager role, without the facts to hand, and in fact the documents contain incorrect statements and inconsistencies. A football pitch, something we can all picture, not the proposal on the table. This is something quite different. A very large structure complete with high fencing and a parameter. Such a construction needs a large open space and one with easy access. I repeat, easy access. On a site plan I printed off the website, the pitch measures 2 centimetres long. I note the nearest property is 1.7 centimetres, using the same scale. We live in an exceptionally quiet neighbourhood opposite the fields. There is simply no noise. I've invited the headmaster, governors, planners and councillors round to visit. The kettle is still on the boil. Today I was a quarter mile away, walking up Townsend Lane before the bend, Harbour Gardens. I pleasantly heard the sound of a football holiday camp on the field with a coach. A joy to hear. But I am someone who has encouraged sports participation in Harpenden for 20 years. I could proudly walk through that school and a lot of the pupils would call me Alison. But I'm not prepared to have my life and my neighbours' lives blighted by extreme noise morning, noon and night. The back of our houses are pitch black after sunset. There are a large bat habitat and other wildlife to be very carefully considered. The Nicky line use has doubled over the last 10 years, particularly families who enjoy it. This will be lost to constant noise and I'm afraid to say the bad language that football breeds. A final and most important point is the access to the pitch and parking. The school has very restricted access and is chaotic on a day-to-day basis. I simply don't know how the residents of Ramwood Park, Park Hill, Medlows and other nearby roads survive. I have good knowledge of coaching and in particular here, colts, mini sports. The pitch will be divided, subdivided, 4 groups of children. How do all those kids and their parents arrive and leave the school? What happens when there is changeover of the kids on the hour? Community youth will breed the same large numbers and in that case, racing cars, up Park Hill, round the dangerous bend, into the restricted entrance. What more can I say? I always say, in all the years since my children attended the primary school, there is a fatality waiting to happen. I sincerely hope I'm wrong, but the restricted school entrance is got to be considered. It simply can't take any more. There will not be parking on site as promised. For a start, Monday night the car park is full. There's a choir that attends the school. There's no more to be said. Where is this all going to end? I repeat and I conclude. Any such development requires space and easy access, neither of which the school can provide. I do also note how in the documentation there is mention that the current courts have fallen into disrepair. I've umpired netball matches on there. I have coached primary school and secondary children on there. It's criminal they've got into that state. Tennis courts have been taken away. So to develop a pitch which is going to cater for a small percentage of the pupils, you're actually taking away other sports facilities. And I can't say any more. I'm passionate about it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was very, very helpful.
Smith, when you're ready.
Sorry, could I just confirm that seemed to be longer than 3 minutes? Could I just confirm that was the case?
We are slightly more flexible here.
I made that point a little earlier, so
Thank you.
you share the same.
In the application, we've addressed the 1994 amenity plan, specifically greenbelt, highways, parking, design and layout, landscaping, tree preservation, floodlighting, location position, and medium-intensity leisure use in greenbelt, as well as the National Planning Policy Framework, core planning principles, promoting healthy communities, conserving and enhancing the natural environment. In pre-planning consultation with St Albans District Council, and as a result of a public meeting held at Ramwell Park, we commissioned independent surveys on noise, floodlight disturbance, traffic and parking, ecology, trees and planting, and the geotechnical and topographical issues. The pitch will be situated in excess of 120 metres away from the nearest residential property. The acoustic assessment modelled noise generated from similar facilities. It was concluded that the noise generated in the garden of the nearest property would be 43 decibels. The World Health Organization says that disturbance in outside areas occurs at 50 decibels and above. Also, noise generating hardball sports will be prohibited, though I'd like to just make you aware that this is not simply a football pitch. We'll also be doing tag rugby, athletics, netball and a number of other sports. The ecological and tree planting report concludes that there will be no impact to any local wildlife sites. Existing hedgerows will not be removed or damaged during or after construction. Foraging or commuting bats will not be disturbed by the measured 2 lux of illumination from the floodlights, and there is no evidence of hedgehog or badger activity. The site is in Metropolitan Greenbelt. The pre-planning meeting concluded that the principle of the proposed development is acceptable in terms of national planning policy under paragraph 89 of the National Planning Policy Framework. The floodlights used will be the most advanced technology available. After our planning meeting, we reduced the height and number of the lighting columns from 8 times 15 metres to 6 times 12 metres, thus reducing the visual impact. Additional planting will also reduce the visual impact, and the hours of operation will comply with the case officer's recommendation of 10 p.m. Traffic and parking, an independent traffic survey for evenings and weekends was undertaken. It states that with 120 identified parking bays, 37 additional places, plus use of the turning circle and junior school parking if required, all traffic for the new development will be able to park on the school site. Highways also commented that the traffic generation associated with the pitch is expected to be light, and that is assuming full occupancy at all times. The project will cost approximately £550,000. We are looking to the FA to provide up to 60% of this, with the remaining £220,000 coming from Harpenden Colts, Ramwood Park School, and donations from other sporting bodies. The project is sustainable. The facility will be fully managed with dedicated staff overseeing the operation and enforcing the terms of hire. There will be a comprehensive code of conduct in operation that will address undue disturbance, swearing, drinking, crowds, car sharing, etc. The opening times. In the pre-planning meeting, the case officer suggested 10 p.m. as the end time across the entire week. We have submitted an application which asks for 10 p.m. during the week and 6 p.m. at weekends. It's essential that we as a school and the local community in general take responsibility for promoting and encouraging both young and old, fit and unfit, male and female, able and disabled to participate in healthy lifestyles. Ramwood Park School develops both mind and body, promoting lifelong well-being habits for the whole community. We ask for your support for this facility. It will be a life-changing development. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Well, now, committee, we are open to debate on this one. First, but and we'll ask Pip and Harry to give their comments. But let's just look. This is for the creation of its artificial turf pitch with fencing, etc. And I would just start this in a generalised terms by saying we have here, as councillors, we've got to consider the neighbours here, the amenities, the street scene. We have to look at how this plans out. There isn't a street scene as such, but we've also got to be aware of what goes on and what is built in our neighbourhood. And we have to follow the guidelines that are set down by our 1994 review. At the same time, on the other hand, and that's why this is obviously a very contentious thing, we have to consider the well-being of the whole community. And for example, on policy 92, where it says joint use and shared use with county council land is often desired and can mean, and I just mentioned it can mean the acceptance of extended hours. And finally, I just mentioned that we are involved because of the government guidelines, the central government guidelines, in the promotion of healthier lifestyles, and that in particular, particularly for the young, and the provision of facilities that will encourage that. Tonight, though, we've obviously had to consider two or four items that are very important. One, light pollution, noise, traffic, and fellow colleagues, I'd like you to give that very good consideration. So, ladies, would you like to start with?
Yes, sure. I must admit, I'm not aware of the previous application 10 years ago, so I'm obviously looking at this afresh. My major issues, I must admit, are with the access, the parking, and the lights. I think the fence in itself, being that not being overlooked directly by residents, I haven't such an issue with. I know Mr Smith has indicated that they've only asked for the operational hours to be till 6, I believe, on Saturdays and Sundays, but I am worried that the Commission might allow other organisations or bodies to carry on if they desire till 10 o'clock, so I would, if this is minded to accept that there is some sort of condition for something to put on those evenings at weekends. The lighting, I believe, height has been reduced, quantity has been reduced after discussions with the District Council, so I don't know how, what policies we have left that we have any basis to argue on that side of things. I'm very much in favour of promoting health and fitness, and I'm actually in favour of extra provision. I know that people already have, members of the cult do have to travel to Luton for their facilities there, so I'm mindful of that as well. However, as you suggested, we do have to take into consideration the local residents in this, and the amenity that they have been afforded up till now.
Thank you.
I am supportive of this application. From seeing the site and from seeing where in regards it is with regards to the Nicky line and the foliage at the back, I believe the nearest house has said is 120 metres, so I think in terms of amenity that is well within the guidelines. In terms of parking, the 110 plus spaces plus everything else is sufficient. Also with regards to lighting, the LED, the high technology lights, they're the best ones around. The fact that the plan has decided to reduce the amount of floodlights and the height of them as well. I'm also very supportive of the fact that in the winter months, from about October through to April, March time, this field during school hours is out of bounds for the students because they're not allowed to play on it because they get muddy and etc. This will open up more space for the students to play in, play football, whatever they want to play. So I'm very supportive of that. Being a Harpenden Colt when I was younger, I'm quite shocked to hear that they have to go all the way over to Luton to play football. And I greatly welcome the fact that they'll be able to use this going forward in the future. They should be able to use a facility in Harpenden and its surrounding area. Also, Harpenden is changing, and it's changing very rapidly. We have to cater for the needs of a growing population, and leisure facilities like this are needed. I also don't draw a distinction between whether it will be football that will be played on here, rugby, cricket. We look at all the sports that are due to be played equally. And I also think that because it is going to be located in a school, I am confident that the control and the behaviour of the participants will be monitored. So bad language, foul behaviour, that will be something that will be monitored. It is better that it is in a school than being somewhere outside of a school jurisdiction where there is no control whatsoever. So I'm very supportive of this move, and as I said, going forward we need more leisure facilities like this in Harpenden.
Thank you, Harry. I'd like to think, what was the aim of the school in putting this forward? It's not to provide, as far as I can see, a pitch for the Colts, but it's to provide a better facility for the existing pupils there. because the main user, as far as I can see, from 9 in the morning till 6 at night, the only user is nobody else other than the students at the school. So what are they doing, and why have they had to go further? They've obviously had to go further, and being a practical person myself, you can see, to get funding. Now, it's a substantial sum, up to about £600,000 here they're looking at. But the FA have come up with this thing 60%, so to speak. Now, by so doing, they can, but they need, the FA put on what they will call community use or other uses, and the Colts fit in really perfectly in this. They would be operators, can only operate after 6 o'clock. And I think, and I was looking a little bit deeper into it, I'm not sure, but I think that the community use has to be for around 35 hours. Now it does mean that there's a minimal bit of time between when the Colts would finish at say 9 o'clock, which would be, I think, that might well be their requirement, going back to what they have asked for in the past on other parts of the rounded area. Then I can see there's very little use for the rest of the day. So this is going to be monitored very much by the school. And I do take up Harry's point here. I'd much rather see the operation conducted from under the guidance of a school, rather than say something like the Harpenden Football Club, now the town centre, where the control, the code of conduct is much more likely to be strictly adhered to. And I do very much listen to what Mrs. Ellis has said, that the behaviour, and it is important, but I think we've got to recognise in our town that we want things to be inclusive. You have a very successful and huge number of enthusiastic youngsters playing cricket, there's no houses there, also the rugby club, and it seems to be that the Colts have had years and years, and there are huge numbers of them, 700 or 800 of them, and they are not being serviced well at the moment. Just a little few other things here. On the map, I think that the actual pitch that is taken is exactly the same as the delineated white mark area which I looked at the other day, of the existing football pitch.
Topographically, it'll be the same, if not a little bit lower.
Another plan that shows. I think it can be that one there. How do you use it? Shows that it's going to be a partial look at another portable pitch.
Now,
sorry.
there's
I think it was going to, yeah, I think it was going to impinge on this over here partially.
so
Yeah, yeah.
but what I'm looking at is the distance between the existing pitch and the same, which is the same as the artificial pitch, and looking at to number 1 play gate, and also towards the meadows, where the house on the corner there. We have an estimated, well not estimated, figure of 120 metres, I believe. And the ground slopes, there's basically slopes gradually down. There is the natural barrier, and this is the biggest thing in favour of the natural barrier of the Nicky line, which I would have to make sure that the condition would ever went if this went through, that the condition was there to make sure that all the hedgerows and trees and things along that were not interfered with in any way whatsoever. And I cannot see any reason why it should be.
Well, here's Nicky line along here.
Yeah. So the distance would seem to be a reasonable distance for that sort of thing. I look at the question of weekends. I take that the point was made earlier. I do think that you made the point that whether that would be infringed in any way. I think there would have to be a very strict condition that if the school has offered to say ending at 6 o'clock on a weekend, I think that must be. There's have to be a very strict condition to be imposed on that thing. But let's just think of the light pollution and the noise, the traffic, etc. Light pollution, I'm not an expert on this, but it does seem that there have been pre-meetings with council officers, which we always do encourage wherever possible, because we hate it when people steamroll their way through. They have come up with this, poles that are pillars rather that are 12 feet high. There are only 6 of them. Does this reflect in an annoying way? I'm not sure. The noise. The Nicky line again is a great screening sort of area, and I gather that special fencing has been put in. Harry, you did mention cricket, but in fact they're going to exclude hardball games.
Yes, and hockey as well.
Because of the
Yeah.
Cotlandswick, south of St Albans in the Coney area, they have put in fencing that has definitely muffled the sound of footballs and things hitting side walls and that sort of thing, and it has worked very well. That was put in after complaints had been made. With the traffic, there's obviously not whether it's a flood, whether it's an artificial pitch or not during school hours doesn't matter, because that's basically the same as in school hours. But I gather, and I've looked around the premises there, that all cars can be accommodated on the school premises, and that would seem to be around 120 spaces that are required. This is parking and things, so that it's probably one of the most annoying things for neighbours that there could ever be, parking in the roads and outside and everything else. Claygate Avenue wouldn't be affected by this, but Roundwood Park could be. You mentioned actually, Pip, that about the trees and hedgerows and that sort of thing in the reports that have been made there. I think they're very, very relevant. This year we must preserve, wherever possible here, every aspect of the natural environment that there must be so that things don't impede on wildlife. I have to say that I do favour and am in favour of the provision of facilities, vital facilities that will encourage a better and healthier lifestyle for, in particular, our younger people. And children, I do think that unfortunately they have not been well catered for at this particular football level as they should be in the past. I do take on board exactly what they say, that we want decent behaviour and property. One of the things about this, if you provide the better facilities in strict control, you're going to get better behaviour. Any more comments on that from you, Pip?
Yeah, my only other thought as well was about the parking. Obviously, we tend to look at residential applications, and obviously I'm absolutely no expert in how many parking spaces will be required if all pitches are fully utilised at any one time. So I'd expect the district to look at that far more closely. Yes. However, I'm unconvinced about car sharing, and I don't know how you can't put conditions on that. You
No,
can't stipulate that people car share, and I am very concerned that there will still be issues with parking in very busy periods, and so I would like obviously the district to look at that far more closely than we can here.
So, have you...
Yeah, I think with the parking, obviously during the day it's going to be used students, so they'll already be at the school, and then when the Colts will be playing on there in the evening, 6 till 9, 6 till 10, the students, the teachers should have all left by then, so it will be completely free. So there won't be a busy period on top of another busy period, if you see what I'm saying. It will be two distinct periods where it will be used, and I don't think that the parking problem will be exacerbated by there being a busy period per se, because as I said, I think the two periods will be different and quite distinct. And also, you have to remember a lot of the Colts live local as well to Harpenden, so you can well see people cycling or walking back as well, as opposed to where they're going at the moment.
Right, well, we've got...
Kate, do you want to make a recommendation
Well,
about...
we have our choice of these. We can refuse, we can say no objection, or we can say no objection but express some concerns. All right. And first of all, I've asked Kit for your views.
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, I've noted down some various policies within the district plan review which relate to some of the areas that we've just been discussing. So, after your initial suggestion as to how you would like to start the recommendation, we can look at some of those
That's
policies to feel whether or not they are being addressed, or if they're not being addressed but actually adhered to, or if there are some concerns that come from those policies. Pretty much got policies that have been raised, so we can have a look at that.
I do strongly feel, to be honest, that going to the district council, there are fewer and fewer things for them to object to on this in relation to the use on greenbelt land, the lighting, weighing that up with the facilities that are going to be provided to, as you say, not only pupils of the school but to a wider audience as well. I reiterate, I am very, very concerned about the parking and the conditions for especially weekend evenings. And I can appreciate what you say about during the daytime, that there will be pupils predominantly, apart from, I should imagine, school holidays, and so that shouldn't raise too much of an issue. However, I can't help but think that there'll be prominent matches perhaps at weekends, which will draw a bigger crowd once you have all parents wanting to come and watch their children. So they're not all going to cycle and walk. So I am very, very concerned about the parking. So on this, I'm minded that I really do strongly feel the district will approve it. However, I would like to express strong concern.
Okay. Thank you.
Harry? Yes, for myself, no objection. With regards to the lights, noise, parking and access, I will feel it is compliant with all the different policies, but the one concern that I would like to raise, as Pip did say about, is weekend use, and also in the evening as well. We obviously don't want it running over the allotted times, so that's the concern I'd like to see raised, that district would raise and do something with regards to it. So no objection, but with that concern.
Thank you. I will go in a similar way to you, but with exactly the same provisos. I see basically no objection under the various policies which we have to go by before the council following the review, the 1994 review. So I think, Heather, you've got the
yes, I think
gist of it now.
I think what I'll do is I'll start to say the committee have no objection in principle. However, I won't obviously call together all of the complete words tonight because I'll need to use it for the district plan. So, however, express concern.
Yes.
I'll list them at this stage. So to the access, evening and weekend usage, floodlighting recorded, floodlighting, no, noise. Please, can you reply? I've got there's a noise generating uses policy that I'm able to refer to, policy 82. Nature and conservation is something that was raised. How do you feel about that? Policy 106, refer to.
I don't have concern considering I think the applicant did discuss this with the district council, and I believe they had resolved that there was going to be no loss to wildlife. So I'm happy with that.
That's okay. I've literally made sort of various concerns. And then parking concerns. Was there anything else that we had any reservations about? Okay, so just for the record really, access will relate to policy 34, evening and weekend usage doesn't particularly have a policy, although I can probably use something under the green belt piece, which is policy number 2, and then noise generating uses, which is policy 82, and then parking on site, which relates to policy 39 and 40. Okay, so I will put together some wording. Councillor Weaver will ask you to approve that tomorrow, so that I can get it to Councillor Paul for his calling.
Yes.
Okay. As long as everyone's written in the book, I will write to you and let you know what our recommendations to district council will be, and then as previously mentioned, it's probably wise to keep your eyes peeled to see if the application is discussed at plan or not. Okay. Thank you.
And I can assure you that it has been called in by Councillor Paul tomorrow, and that it is the plans rule team that will make a formal decision.
He's in isolation.
John's in.
Flabbergasted, absolutely flabbergasted.
Yep.
You just have no idea. I'm sorry. Absolutely flabbergasted.
How can you make a decision until you've got all the objection tests? So
This lady here said she had no knowledge of the site.
It's ridiculous.
You have no knowledge of our houses and the site.
You are so ill-informed.
You said you had no knowledge of the planning.
Please, can you... Now is not the time or the place to go objecting language.
Over my dead body, that's all I'm going to say. All I'm going to say, I will fight this to the end, as we did 10 years ago. It's no different.
That's absolutely fine, as long as
You've got people talking here, they haven't got the knowledge. This lady said, I'm sorry I didn't get your original letter. She's not got the knowledge.
Thank you for your time.
This gentleman does not know our houses. Good. This gentleman's not come round to our house. Noise report's not been done by our house.
We're going to call the meeting to a halt and end the evening, or I'm going to ask you to leave. So can you just please...
I am leaving, but
we are purely a consultation.
you hardly said the word noise there.
I have recorded it down under policy 82.
Right. Okay.
Thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen.
You didn't approve it 10 years ago. What's changed?
Because you know the other things on...
You didn't know anything about it. You asked my letter.
No.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me something, did you?
I knew that, but I think that's it. That's my own.
Yes, it's not friendly.
Would like to continue with our meeting. We have quite a few applications to consider.
Right, you need to go now then. Okay.
It's okay, no, I'm sorry, I didn't know it shouldn't be there.
Right,
I suspect it was printed before.
Right. Okay, okay, all right. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay.
Right, well.
Thank you, good night. Will we have things to continue with, that's all. I've got a number of applications to visit. Thank you.
So thank
Good
you
night.
for the
Right, let's move on.
Continue.
Shall we head to the Harpenden House Hotel?
Yes.
Sorry,
That would be very helpful, yes, indeed. Alan Dorman.
right,
my name.
okay.
Okay, so
So,
you advise Mr. Dorman.
Yes,
the
well, and
situation.
I'll advise colleagues as well. This afternoon we got an email from Curtin & Co, who are the public affairs advisors for Fairview. And the email advised us that Fairview have been in discussions with planning officers, and as a result of those discussions, they are going to be making some changes to the proposed scheme. They therefore asked us not to consider it at this evening's meeting. Now, that raises a number of issues. So I wanted to discuss that with you. In essence, the scheme that we have before us is the same scheme as before, and as Mr. Dorman may not know, but it actually came to this committee, so the members of this committee are very familiar with the scheme, and we together constructed the response that's in the agenda papers. The one thing that the applicant has done is to get some verified street view images prepared, because you'll remember one of our concerns was the visuals, and I forget the exact wording that we used. What page is it? Here we go. So,
Page 12.
yeah, so in the second paragraph, we said the committee expressed concern regarding the integrity of the computer-generated evaluations presented. And in fairness to the applicants, they have gone away and they have, one of the documents they've submitted now is what's called verified images of the Harpenden House Hotel. Now, I don't know if you've had a chance to see those, but they are selective, is how I would describe them. Can you get
I
that?
did, yes, I did all the preparation work
So
before I knew.
It's that report.
So which was it, the townscape and visual
That's the one.
appraisal?
That's the one. Yeah. So if you could just open up, Heather, and we'll just take it through to sort of 2/3 towards the end. So you just want to flick through the pages. Do you want to get rid of the tools?
Yeah.
So click tools at the top. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So some of the stuff we've seen before, these are the old sort of historic maps, the layouts, etc., etc. And keep going.
By the way through.
Yeah. Okay, so just go back now, Heather. Sorry, no, back again. Right. So that's the proposed. Sorry, no. Can you go back again?
Back
or forward?
down.
No, back.
Forward.
No,
Forward.
back.
Yep.
Okay, so that's an existing image of obviously looking across from the Bull roundabout. And then if you just want actually can you just focus in on the so if you do up the size of the picture, the image, yeah, and fill the screen with the picture, or a bit less than that.
Trouble is with this, is it hasn't got an up and down, you have to put it in percent.
Okay, that's fine. And now just flick to the next page.
Yeah.
No, just go, use the arrow at the top. You need to move it. Okay. And just go back.
delay, I think.
Just go back again. So from there, there's hardly any difference. You can just, as Heather flicks between the two pages, you just see a
A
gable.
little bit of a filling
Yeah.
in at the
Yeah.
back.
So that doesn't really help us very much. So do you want to go to the next one?
Yeah.
It's like sort of spot there.
Okay, so this is looking, well that is from the sort of ball roundabout. And just want to do the same, flick through the pages, existing to proposed. Right. So, and back again, and back again. So now you can see the so-called cottages at the front, where the car park is at the moment, and you can see a little bit of action behind the big house. But that tree is really preventing us from seeing what's going on. So that's not particularly helpful either. So do you want to go forward now to the next pair, Heather? So you can see where that is now, and then flick forward now. So now you see quite a bit of roof and ridgeline action, which I think is helpful, because that leaves me with a few concerns, I have to say. So just flick back and forward a couple of times.
It fills in sort of the edge, at the side of the...
And those conifers which are in front of the old banqueting room, they've gone, and so we're seeing the development of blocks A, B, C, D, and what have you. And then there's just one more pair, I think, aren't there, of photographs?
Given an opportunity, just make one small comment about that one to let you take it a bit further.
You shouldn't really, but go on.
If I may just go back to that
You
previous
want to go
shot.
back to that previous
Yes.
Yeah.
Because this is one of my big concerns, is the gateway view. And here is a tree hiding a lot of the Harpenden House Hotel. If you flick back, don't do it just yet, but when you flick back, you'll see the difference in that area. Where is the entrance to the hotel? And here you'll see the little two-story block, and it's right in front of the building. But it's in so much shade, just like those halls, you can hardly see them.
Yeah.
The sun should be shining on them
Yeah.
later in the day. That's a morning shot.
Yeah.
Sorry for disturbing you,
That's
but I thought it
okay.
might be helpful.
Yeah. And then the next pair, Heather, which is a sort of more of a winter scene, and then just flip back. Okay, so you can see that development in the front now. And the block that Mr. Dorman was talking about is the one that would obscure the view of the old hall at the front there. So I have to say, I think it's really helpful to get those now, and I feel much more confident in those images. One of the images that's missing, however, is more square on, which would see right through towards the big block at the back, and I wonder why they haven't shared that with us. So whether we do we take this item now and formally submit a response, or whether we choose to write back to the applicant, I would be wanting to highlight that whilst we're appreciative that they've followed our guidance and get some decent views, these aren't as comprehensive as they might be. And I think they've been a bit selective in terms of what they've chosen. So really, I think we've got a choice. Either we formally do our response and reflect those comments and any other comments that you might have, having now seen this, or we simply say, okay, we're here, you're going to change the plans. We would ask you nevertheless to, when we discuss this, we are concerned about some of the images that we've seen, and we prefer a more comprehensive view. But then we will formally consider your application, your revised application, at some future date.
I tried to contact the case officer for this application for District Council today, but he's on leave until Thursday, because I wanted before tonight's meeting to have reassurance from him that he was happy to receive our comments later on in a few weeks' time once the amended plans have been submitted, because this won't be withdrawn, the amended plans will be submitted and it will be under the same number. So the way that it's sort of looking at what the guidance has been in the email from Curtin & Co is that they've been given, I mean, her wording here is that the case officer, it's been agreed with the case officer to extend the period for determination of these applications for 3 months after receipt of the amended plan. So there is a large window of opportunity for us to consider the amended plan. My concern, in a sense, is that if we put in a formal response to the District Council after tonight's meeting, that will be read, and that's what our suggestion, what our recommendation will be. Whereas until you have sight of the amended plan, it's unclear whether or not our recommendations will still, will be accurate. It's difficult until we see those amended plans to know how much of our concerns have been taken on board. The fact they are submitting amended plans says to me that they've had detailed discussions with St Albans, who have maybe echoed some of the things that we have shared.
Michael, you...
David, I think you've expressed yourself extremely well here, and Heather, you back this up. I am always wary of what I call a waste of time and duplication of time. I think that if I've got it's in the right order, I would go along with the second one, which is to say defer the thing right back to the people and say we're in exactly the way we said we are not happy with or cause that effect with what they've come up with. We think that they can come up with a better scheme, but I really do think to progress further down the line to express opinions is a duplication.
Okay. Yes, I would agree with what you've all said. I'm not really too well experienced with regards to this process.
It's very rare, Harry. It doesn't normally
Yeah.
happen. Normally something of this size would be withdrawn and then a fresh application would be submitted. But as Councillor Weaver's just said, I think time, in a sense, is the essence here. By withdrawing an application, resubmitting, it has to go through the validation process, with time is ticking. This has got to be running for at least 18 months now, surely, from the very beginning. So, it's, time is
I'm supportive of what we said. The latter option, course of action, I think is the best option. What we said with regards to the photos, I'd like to welcome the fact that they've got more photos, but I think obviously we want to see even more. So
based on the timings that Sarah Wardle has said, I quite likely will come to Plan A again, because of 2 weeks' time is Plan B. I think the plans, new drawings will not be submitted within that 2-week period, so it's likely that it will be coming to Plan A again anyway.
I mean, if it went to Plan B, I would encourage us all to attend and do our full plan, because obviously this is
it's something that we're knowledgeable about, because we've had both schemes come to our committee. So
we've looked at it in detail before as well.
Wouldn't the other committees be mindful of our comments?
They would do, but they may share different views. It's I suppose it's about that consistency, isn't it?
Now, in some respects, if we copy this to the case officer, if we copy our letter to the case officer, and we're saying that basically, our view stands, and we're pleased you've dealt with the images, we're having to double check it anyway. Are you happy with that? Yes. Okay. Right.
So, Mr. Dorman, did you sort of kind of get the gist of what the plan is?
Yes, indeed. Perhaps one comment if I have the opportunity to say. This is the third application virtually they've had for the same thing. It's been cancelled twice, and we're in the third one at the moment. The public lose touch with what's going on, and I believe if they submit a new application, there ought to be a new public consultation as well, so that we make sure that the community are aware of what's happening to an important site in Harpenden. And that's my only comment.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, I will raise that with them. Done. Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
So that was short, Mr. Dorman, but...
No, not at all. I'm just retired. I'm interested a little bit on planning issues and so forth, and I enjoy coming along and trying to find out just how people put their reasoning through acquisition forms and such issues. So thank you very much for having a word.
Well, you're welcome to stay if you want to listen to anything more, but...
We've got a long
it's more normally as lively as it has been this evening.
I'm sorry if I did
pick a good
butt in, but it was with the best intentions.
All right.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning.
That's fine. Okay, so do you want me to draft sort of a letter then?
I'll draft. I'll draft. I'll draft something.
Sure.
I don't think I did.
Okay, and do you want me to send it off on town council letterhead?
Probably,
Yeah.
I'll definitely do that.
Okay.
Right, Wroxham, let's go back to the beginning then, and
Okay,
let's
let me just
start.
gather my things out the way. Oh dear, baby, that was a little bit
Was it?
unhelpful.
Right, we'll catch up later when at the end of the meeting.
Back to houses now.
Back to
Yeah,
housing.
back to housing.
18 Wroxham Way, these were shockingly poor plans. But you weren't concerned. This was connecting with an outbuilding.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah. No,
They're not getting back into the territory of the application that was refused, are they?
No, I don't think so. To be honest, I mean, my wording is proposed is to just link the rear store to the main house by simple link walls with a skylight above. The neighbour's roof appears to extend above the existing roof line, limited if anything in terms of impact on the neighbours. I think what it is that they've got a store in the back garden at the moment, which they're actually wanting to create as being studying. So they want to just link an existing brick building to some part of the house.
Okay, everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
So then we don't need to go to 11 Talent Crescent, but we do need to go to 3.
Yes.
I see there was no comment by neighbours, certainly when I looked.
No, this one I'm pretty sure was the one that we looked at
We
before.
did,
Do you remember
yeah.
it had the caravan in the image?
So it was withdrawn, the last application
Yes.
was withdrawn, and they've come back with this one, which...
they have addressed sort of a fair bit really, and also it's withdrawn, so my wording sort of related to our concerns. I think I might have included this into just a little list. I might have the last time, frankly. Yes, I do. Efficient. Yeah, that was the previous refusal of sort of concern plan, and then this is the new. So they kind of nipped it. So that's the old. What was it up before? So they reduced the height, nipped it in at the side a little bit. The roof form is much more sympathetic now. At the back here, it's sort of...
Right, but still quite a significant rearward extension of that gable bit there.
Yeah. I think our concerns really related to...
The house,
yes.
number 5.
It was the house that was this... it was number 1 actually, was the concern, I think, more, because it was right. I think it was a case of that it was going to cause quite a bit of sort of loss of amenity from this here, but I think by changing the roof form, they've addressed that.
Are there any windows that look directly on this?
No.
What's the window? No.
Well, I think there is a window here at the side.
Is that bathroom, maybe?
Can see. Thank you.
I mean, if you feel differently, then that's
No, I don't.
fine. We can...
I mean, previously we expressed concern, so
Yeah.
the issue is, do we still express concern, or are we content to go no objection? And I'm on balance, I think I am content to go no objection.
I would still, with what you just said, content.
And that, you know, I would have thought if there was a concern on the part of the owner of number 1.
See, number 5 quite a long way away, and I think
Yeah.
there was having included.
I would have expected the owners of number 1 to have raised it, but they haven't. So they will.
What's quite reassuring is that they obviously withdrew it on the basis of what maybe we or the case officer said.
Yeah.
This come before this committee.
Yeah. You know, often you're not in here.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so I have to with Heather's recommendation. So we're off to the Green Belt and Harpenden Town Farm, where they're looking to install a grain store. So this is in accordance with paragraph 89 of the NPPF. And as far as the plans are concerned, Heather, you thought that it wouldn't cause harm to the Green Belt?
No, it's basically, I mean, it's a heavily, an agricultural, they're taking down a sort of ramshackle old thing really, and what they're proposing to put in its place is going to be within this sort of existing footprint of the site that is basically a farmyard anyway. So, I'm always a little bit mindful that certainly with farm locations things can get quite dilapidated and unpleasant and things, so by having this sort of regeneration over a period of time it's better than having something that's perhaps...
Well, then it's good to see that they're investing in their enterprise.
Modern premises.
They're clearly a functioning farm and they're exchanging it for something that they clearly need to use.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is an application that we didn't like, but this is simply about a variation on a condition in relation to arboricultural method.
The proposal is the removal of one tree which is located close to the house. The site is fairly populated with trees. The removal of this one tree will have limited impact.
Happy with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
So then we've got almost a similar situation at 25 the Uplands. So this is an approved scheme, but there is a variation to the condition.
The proposals are to reduce some areas and in fact are reducing the impact on the street scene and reduces the bulk and matting, etc. Not a conservation area, so I have no objection.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is quite a substantial house and I think I looked at things I think it might be a new applicant wanting something different.
Okay, then we come to an application that you wanted us to consider, Helen.
Yes.
62 Grove Avenue.
Can we get this up on the screen, this one?
Yeah.
Did you, yes, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
Did you want to have the house itself on the screen? Or the
Well,
plan?
Just
The house.
The house, yes, sorry, just, I mean, I wasn't sure if you wanted the plan.
Yeah. I know this
Right, this
area
one
quite
I've got
well.
concerns about the possible impact on number 6 Grove Avenue from the two-storey rear extension.
So this is in a pair of semis. And what we've got is quite a significant two-storey rear extension, but leaving a single-storey element for a 45-degree angle. It's going from 3 bedrooms to 4 bedrooms, so standard parking laws will probably apply. No, it's not that one actually.
I didn't work out which way to take it. No, I think.
It's higher up the road, Heather. It's quite a long way up the road. I ended up at the
This
same.
is just at the top of...
I couldn't work out if they've got any parking in front of them or not at the moment.
Okay.
Right, so that's 38. Okay.
I'm not sure that there's for me.
I think you've got to go further up the road, Heather.
So I was going up the road. I should be going down the road
Have you
then.
gone too far?
No, well this is number 62. No, the house is 38. So it's got to be a long way away from
Yeah,
there
you
in
go up
one
the hill.
direction.
It's always worth coming out.
Yeah, I think is it that house with that?
I know there weren't any cars outside, and there was quite a bit of... No, I think it's further still.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it might be the next one over.
I did locate it because I've obviously been able to do that.
I think it might be the one next door to that. No.
Right, okay, so that, how many in is it, Pip? It's the second pair, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, okay, so I think it's this one, here we go, it's this one here.
Right, yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah. Right. So, you can probably get 2 cars when you've lost a bit of garden.
Just about.
To remove that sort of...
Yeah, I've no doubt.
So they have they put anything in about provision of parking spaces then, which they haven't actually got at the moment?
Just says, well, the question is, will the proposed works affect existing car parking arrangements, and they have to know.
That's the plan, mate. said that it was the...
So maybe they're already, I mean, this image here was 2009, so it is a long time ago, so
So I think now that they're going to 4 bedrooms, there is going to be, it's not going to meet the 3-car requirement. So I think we can include that within our comments. But then the key issue is the 2-storey extension to the rear. And I think on that one, you can see that there is a sort of almost like a shared single-storey extension, and that's the one you can see on the plan in relation to next door. So that middle picture there, you can see where it goes down just to a single story, and then next door is the single story extension of number 64. There was a letter of support from number 60, which
I was concerned for them.
Yeah, that's what I was mainly thinking in terms of amenity to 60. Some of the other houses on this road, I think, have had extensions. I'm not too sure of the detail of the extensions, but there has been a move in this parcel as well towards...
I don't know if they're exactly the same houses, but that's got a 2-storey gable extension at the back, and so is that one.
Yeah.
These guys here at the moment, so this is the first, the ground floor extension I'm talking to Chris about, which presumably the neighbour there has still got.
Yeah.
So it goes back, I think it was 3.3 metres, which is not excessive, I would say. My inclination would be no objection, provided no loss of amenity.
How do you feel about the parking though?
But express concern about parking.
Express concern about
Big
parking.
one. When I first looked at it, I thought, oh, this looks quite overdevelopment, but I'm not seeing the rear of the buildings, and I wasn't also aware that number 60 had voiced their support. My guess is that maybe they are looking, both of them are looking to end up with a similar thing to these houses here, where they kind of sort of both had the same sort of extensions out the back. I mean,
right. I mean that one there is a very close match. So they've left a little nick there, so they don't incur the 45-degree problem. But the rearward projection is more than half of the width of the property.
I take it 60 is the one joining it, as opposed to...
No,
No.
Oh, okay.
60 is the
Yeah,
It's not, they've got a garage between them, so it's not
Yeah.
affecting them anyway, is
No,
it?
that's right. Yeah. But you know, we don't get many letters of support online.
Possibly,
And you know, we have come across cases where somebody developing one property has favoured another one, and I'm not saying that's what's happening in this case, but you know, we just need to be aware that when we get letters of support, there may be some motive.
Well, we've had them where there've been people not even anywhere close. Do you remember that one down in almost just off the Lower Luton Road? Where
I mean, I must admit, because it's not the one that's actually going to be affected, I take it at face value anyway,
Yeah.
you know, because they're not going to be directly impacted by it.
So we're happy, no objection, but express concern about parking.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, right. 14.
Cannon Street.
Are we required to do it? Yes, we are.
HCC had no problem with the initial proposal, and the proposed changes appear to reduce the scheme so will be more acceptable in street scene and on the neighbouring properties, and not the conservation area. So,
No problem.
Happy to accept that then. We don't need to comment on the next one. Then we go to 9 Pennycroft. And you suggested your response there, Heather. There was quite a long letter of an email post from, I think it was number 11, who were concerned about this.
okay. That wasn't there when I looked initially.
Right.
Quick look.
Do you want to look?
Well, this one,
Yes,
yeah. It doesn't actually.
How close is it to the requirements?
It's
quite a long
Number
way.
is
Penny
Ryan.
Court, not too he's at the top
No,
of
what number is
the road, but I don't know what the number is.
It's even number.
They're quite spaced out.
Yeah,
Not there.
I mean, these are the old sort of wait homes or whatever. This is one of the L-shaped ones, which has, you know, a double garage coming forward with a gable roof. And the one thing about that, which is a little bit, one thing about this is that they are extending that forward, but only then bringing it in line with the neighbouring property. So it's not extending forward. But anyway, here we go.
Okay, the lady says that she's concerned about two proposed first floor side windows associated with this development will face directly onto 11 Pennycroft and cause considerable intrusion into an existing first floor habitable room used as a bedroom study. This bedroom study measures and has only one window opening to the side of the property providing light and view. The proposed side windows from the development face onto 11 Pennycroft only into 11 Pennycroft only window associated with the bedroom study and would cause significant intrusion, and it is feared that the room would no longer be able to be used for its current purpose. And then separately, loss of light. The side and first floor, so the side and rear first floor extension, which is adjacent to 11 Pennycroft, will cause a loss of light to the first floor bedroom study in 11. This existing room has only one window which faces onto the side of the property. Encroachment from new foundations, well, we can't take that on board. Guttering, can't really take that on board. And that's it, really.
Okay, so I don't know if you've got the plans there, Heather.
I have, sorry.
Yeah. I don't think there is a 45-degree issue.
It's orange dot.
So it's bringing forward that front projection.
They've already got sort of like a forward.
Yeah, they're sort of L-shaped.
Yeah.
But whereas that's a garage with a couple of rooms above, they want to turn it into, there won't be a garage there. So there'll be accommodation first and second floor. Now, the one thing that would concern me, Heather, is, and there's maybe an elevation here. If they're worried about these windows overlooking, we're certainly.
Yes, we are. Yes. Were you coming about the planning application?
No, I didn't know it was that. I came back to the journal because I wouldn't really want to trust you on this one. I had no idea.
Okay, yeah, we've still quite a few to look at, so. Okay. All right. Okay. Bye-bye now.
So,
Right, so yes, those windows are here.
so if the windows are those and they're worried about that, so okay, no, where your finger was, no, come towards me, where the hatching is. If they're worried about windows there, looking over to the house, that is a bit of a problem, because they're not going to obscure those. So Heather's.
I'll go to the.
Well, actually, I was going to get. We could do with the other. There's another elevation.
What on the?
On the planning application.
Is there? I did print off.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Do you want to go and get it?
I'll try.
Yeah, look, there's no windows, is there?
Well, there might be some on this end here, but that's sort of house to house, and I can't imagine that would be a concern. Okay, yes, if you go back from there.
So elevation.
Proposed, so the side one.
Right. Somebody else might have taken them. Well, this is the trouble, we always have to share.
Oh, no, that's not it. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Sorry.
It is, yeah.
Oh, what are you doing with it?
Yes, I'm doing it PDF, it's bigger.
So if you look at the bottom one,
So it's these windows here that she's concerned about, isn't it?
yeah. And there are little windows at the side, but those look like toilets and things, don't they? They're bathrooms
Yeah.
and
These
what have
the
you.
ones
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's where the garage used to be, and it's they're taking it out further than it is at the moment, and so that hatch bit on the plan there, Pip. So does that represent? Well, does it represent a 45 degree actually?
Well, probably yes. Even though it's going forward, it's still, I don't think it is exclusive to just rear. I've got the guidance.
Well, over and above what's in here.
Yeah, it sort of builds on it.
That's the existing
Right, thank you. That helps.
Shall not normally intrude into a 45 degree visibility zone of a neighbour's ground floor window.
Yeah, it doesn't say rear, does it?
Would that be 45 degrees, Pip? From number 11, not from...
I have got to look at the projector.
So is that 45 degrees?
Do you mean a protractor?
Did you want to go and get my projector? I've got one.
No, I don't want...
Oh, yeah.
I think we
Not
might
very good
just need to
examples.
express concerns about that.
Yeah.
Other one? Side windows. Oh, whether they're still like and a lot of light to her bedroom.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Was it her bedroom or was it just?
Well, it's classed as a bedroom,
Yeah.
so study.
Yeah. But for planning reasons, do we have to class it as a bedroom? Or can we say study?
Well, I mean, this has got to be within... so this should relate to ground floor windows. Were you just going to get...
I was going to go to the
Street
street
view,
scene,
yeah.
yeah.
Although I must admit, when I had a go, it jumps a bit, Heather. I think they've got an
I
exclusion
think
on it.
it's a little bit further up.
No, it's about there.
It is there, is it?
Because
It's
it's
where
the
it
third
comes
house in.
round the sort of
About there.
bend.
It's a different style, so...
I struggle to see behind the trees.
Okay,
Yeah,
swing
lots of
around
trees
the
on
top
this
right. No.
Exactly, yeah. I
We're in the
thought.
wrong place. Oh, are we
I
on?
think it's behind here.
No, the other side of the road.
No.
It's up towards the red van. Okay. So I think the house in question, number 11. Yeah.
I think it's behind. Is that one there?
No. Turn round. So
No, round.
keep turning. Yeah, keep turning.
What, on the other opposite side of the road?
Yeah, where those vans were. So there's a silver van, the red van, right, silver van. So that house, stop there. So the garage with the white door is going, and that forward projection behind the tree is coming out some.
Yep.
And it will look across to the house next door.
Yep.
And it might be the ground floor, it might be the top floor, but it is still looking... well, it needs a planning officer to apply it, isn't it? So, yeah, there's a...
Where have we gone?
Yeah, so, okay. Let's stop there, that's a perfect picture. So it's a garage at the moment with a dormer window above it. That is going to come out by another 2 or 3 metres towards the tree, and then it's going to be looking across to number 11. and I can sort of understand the worry.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Right. So, are we prepared to express concern, or do we want to be stronger than that? I find it quite difficult to be so, to be honest, I find it difficult to be definitive off Street View and off the plans we've got in front of us. And so I'm tending towards expressing concern.
I would agree with that. We can be too negative here. If you, and I think if we express very strong concerns here, I think that would be sufficient.
So let's just capture some words. So
Yeah.
the creation of living accommodation on the ground floor and first floor of the forward projection. Potentially reaches a 45-degree visibility zone from the for the front rooms of number 11, ground floor and first floor. Are we happy with that?
Yeah.
Something along those lines?
Yeah, I'd just say the gap between the properties, they are quite large properties, and I think it's just, if it was properties that were closer together, it would be something more of a concern. I don't know if that's a valid way of putting it.
Okay, we happy? Good, yep.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Any window cleaners in that picture?
So cute. Because he didn't want to do Penny Cross, didn't he? I think it was Prospect Lane.
I thought it was Pennycroft.
Yeah.
Maybe in an earlier iteration on Google.
I used to wash car at that house.
Oh, here goes Harry.
You're making it up.
No, I'm not making it up.
Did
That
you deliver
one.
paper?
No,
Mind you,
I
it's
didn't
not
deliver
Harry
paper out
cleaning
there.
the car there, it's
No.
who's done the garden.
No, it wasn't. No. I think that
Right.
was BMW.
Okay.
No comment required by committee, and then we've done the Harpenden Town Hotel, which takes us to a couple of
Jump
pages,
forward,
which is excellent news. And so, is the next one 36 Westway?
It is.
Yeah, I didn't have any problem with that. This was just a new front porch, wasn't it?
Oh. Yeah, this is
Oh.
the one that.
No.
This is not the one that's where they've got the proposed development in the
I thought
in the back. It's not the one.
Yeah. So it's, it's going up quite a bit bigger.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's okay. I mean, I can show you if you want. So, yeah, this is the little house here, orange dot, and they're wanting to basically lift the roof. So that we've gone from being a little job like that to being a slightly taller job like that. But the houses either side are taller. I mean, he's quite little in comparison to the one to the right and even that one there. No real increase in the footprint, only a porch added to the front, sympathetic in the street scene, parking for 3 cars, not the conservation area.
Okay.
So it's going to actually a very similar roof.
Yeah, it'll be pitched a bit
Yeah.
steeper, won't it?
Yeah.
But a gable roof form, their gable, their hit. What's happening between the two houses?
Nothing.
Okay, so that
No,
remains.
that
little-
remains, yeah. So we've got this, nothing really much changes at the front. I think realistically all that they're doing is going up.
Right.
When you look downstairs, it's exactly the same. First floor is exactly the same. So they're creating a porch here, and then they're going up into the second floor and basically changing the roof form.
Right. And creating a large master bedroom.
But they have got 2 parking spaces.
Okay, happy? Yeah. 35 Harpenden Rise, single-storey side and rear extension. I had a quick look at that. I didn't have any problems with that.
Parking provided, oh yes, this is a funny one. Parking provided in a garage block in the street and parking in front of that. The house is set back from the road and is on an angle, so this reduces any impact on the street scene. Houses in the neighbouring street are a long way away and would have little effect on the imposed. So it has to have an effect.
No.
Okay. So then we've done Roundwood Park, and then we go just for. Well, I was just going to mention before we get to that the development of Tuffnell's Way, which we're not required to comment on. So this is the big development that Captain was bringing forward at the end of Tuffnell's Way, and it may have been actually the last council that kept on getting involved in this. But that application now has come forward from Shanley Group. Shanley Group are the developers who are doing the Southdown Road Walker's Way. So presumably the Captain family has sold it to the developer.
That is something that they are now doing because of the scheme that was just offered.
The Taylor Wimpey one.
They sold that as well.
So this, this is quite contentious because this is from an outline planning consent dating from 1961, and one of the things it would be interesting to see now, because we didn't like the layout, and it sort of ended up at Plans North and all sorts of issues about drainage as well.
Drainage is the main problem.
It'll be interesting to see whether they change the plans and the layout for the 32 dwellings, because it was a bit of a botch, to be honest.
We are drawing to a close, actually, for this. The 117 dwellings are now almost done.
Well, this is sort of it, isn't it? This is the last bit.
Yeah.
But whether Shanley come back with something different, I'd be surprised if they didn't, but who knows? It obviously opens it up then for Plans North to decide.
I want to know where the 12 shops are on the 24th, isn't it?
No way.
What shops they said?
Garages?
Yeah. That was the plan in 1961, but it's never happened. Anyway, right, we're not required to comment on Ashley Gardens. Falklands Fields. Now, this was refused by St Albans because there was an absence of a detailed tree survey. I believe there is now a tree survey.
Yeah.
So, Heather's recommendation there, no objection subject to the previous reasons for refusal being fully met.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the lady who was here before, Mrs. Brooks, this is her application here. She told me now that that's been withdrawn.
Oh, right, okay.
But this was a minor amendment to the layout of the parking. It might just save you, Heather, if you just look it up to see if it is withdrawn, and then you can minute it accordingly. So this is 0748.
I take it we'll still have to debate its merits if it hasn't been officially withdrawn from the website now.
Yeah, just because she's
Yeah. Mind.
Okay.
Okay, let's consider it then. So I think, have you got the before and after plan?
Yep. I didn't have a problem with it.
So this is, there were two quite controversial infill developments in the gardens of Roundwood Park.
In Mrs. Brooks' garden.
You and her neighbour.
Roundwood Gardens has been a big contentious area for a long time. A number of applications being very heavily disputed.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and so this is in Roundwood Gardens now, and have you got the before? That's the
Yes.
before.
So this one I think was the one that was, this says it's dated 2013. I think that was the original one that was agreed. That one there is the new one.
And that's the old one as well. So basically, the original plan was to create 2 parking spaces here like that, sort of parallel,
Side by side,
perpendicular parking, with a fenced off basis, and there's a tree here that was going to be in the garden behind the fence. What they've actually built is what Michael's got over there, where they've squared off that, and I think just gone straight across from the house to there. So now the parking is in front of there and in front of there, as illustrated on that one, I think. So, where are the cars on this one?
Just there and there.
There.
No. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very big version.
Yes, they've just zoomed in on how
So now the fence goes right across and includes that. That is actually quite attractive, the tree at the end there. Whereas the previous plan was to square it off and not include the tree.
Because this crossover, is the whole of this a crossover basically?
If I don't know.
I'm just thinking how are they getting into
Does it
this?
say?
Well, that was all crossover. It doesn't illustrate it actually, does it? Yes, it does. It's the hatch bit. That hatch
This
bit.
is this.
So that's the crossover.
Brick
tree,
sort of
tree,
kind
tree,
of
tree.
situation sort of thing,
So
yeah.
it's sort of in like that or in like that.
I can-
No.
There is a lot of amenities there too. I mean, if you have a
It's
main
just
property, you say there's extra foliage, more trees in this.
Well, there's a bit
than the
more
other one.
landscaping in the street scene on
Yeah.
this corner here, whereas before it was going to be a fence panel. going-
I visited this one in relation to a Rowden Gardens one that was up here, and I think it's quite attractive what's happening there and how it's developed. I think it's actually quite attractive.
I didn't have an issue.
So you
It's kind of,
suggested no
you know,
objection and
yeah,
happy with that.
stick with one and a half dozen of the other really.
Okay.
There's a reduction in.
No objection. No objection.
No.
No objection.
Okay, so then we go to One Shepherd's Way. Now this is a modest dormer bungalow, which they've sought to extend quite considerably, and St Albans have pushed it back. So we said no objection, subject to no loss of amenity, but then it was refused. Came back again. HTC no objection, subject to all reasons for refusal having been addressed to provoke no loss of amenity in the property. Again refused, and there has been an appeal, but it hasn't been determined yet. So we've now got this new one. It didn't appear to me that there was significant difference.
No, not.
Right. So you've recommended no objection subject to all reasons.
I repeated the word.
You've repeated from the last time round.
The scheme doesn't seem to differ from the previous application that HTC had no problem with.
That's the relevant part.
Yeah.
So,
I think SADC will obviously bring in like the impact on the character of the existing dwelling, because it is a bungalow, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they're obviously probably thinking, oh, it's making it look less like a bungalow. But if we've
So basically it's the same application and we're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no difference. Now Ennis Close.
Yeah,
Now
yes.
this was remember this corner property up in New Farm. Not New Farm.
Crossfarm.
Did it go Plan Speed? Okay. I was probably showing Plan Speed at the time. That's why I know about it. So this is a very tight location, and it doesn't seem to differ.
no, just the application does not differ from the 3583 application. This was an invalid application, so
Okay.
I think that there must have been some,
Yeah. I know
close quite well, and they're very tightly packed in here. When I looked at this, you're completely right in recommending refusal. It is overdevelopment, plot size, close proximity to buildings, amenity, etc. So I'm very happy with recommending refusal on this one. Thank you.
Right, done.
Yeah.
Now, 122 East Moor Park. This is a little bit like Shepherd's Way, actually. So this is a bungalow, and you'll see that this has had a couple of goes. Albeit this time we first expressed concern, then we recommended refusal. The appeal was dismissed, and so they've come back again. I didn't think it was too bad, but...
Okay, I mean, I say do not feel that enough has been done to address the previous reasons for concern. The height of roof remains the same, roof design has changed, but still seems large and overbearing from the original house.
Are there any letters of objection? I mean, they are quite, the bungalows, East Moor Park, it's quite wide. The houses aren't on top of each other, put it that way.
It looked quite spacious.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's very spacious around there. And the bungalow is quite an old building, looks wise.
So St Albans last time said, reason of its
Just to go. A bit odd because the dominant Harpenden development in the area.
So this is what they're proposing.
You might find that there's a previous thing as well. Yeah, there is that one there.
Okay.
And there's plenty of parking space in terms of the garage conversion, because it's quite a large bit on the front, I think, isn't they?
Right, so if you compare those two, Harry, then what you're losing...
Which one am I looking at?
So this is the old
Relation?
one, this is the new
Right,
one.
okay. So, old one, you've got different windows.
And the roof form and the gables that have gone,
Yeah.
and the roof form is much simpler now.
Yes.
And on the next rear elevation, it's all a bit cleaner, but they've gone for roof lights rather than another dormer.
And obviously they're losing
The dormers at
Yeah.
the side.
Yeah.
Front elevation, the size of the dormers is being reduced
that
somewhat.
one. Yeah. Actually, this is slightly different. Can we have a look at it on Google Maps just so everyone can see? I just want to.
Maybe not. No.
Just want to.
No, I don't know, you might have to guide me.
It's at the end of a sort of hammerhead.
They're the flats,
Down
yeah.
there?
Yeah.
If you,
No, they're just the flats. That's just
Carry
the
on
flats
down
in the middle.
or round or
do you want
I think it's further up actually.
back up this way?
I was going to say, do you want to go back to the map and I'll show you exactly where it is. Right. If you
Take my little hand.
yeah, and you need to go south. You see that cul-de-sac that goes off?
Down here?
Yeah, it's at the end there. And I can swivel round.
Yeah, around this one. Oh, of course I know where this is. Because we looked at this one,
That's,
and it's this one that's behind the gate application, isn't it?
is it? Right.
Yeah.
I knew it was one of those two.
Yeah.
I know this close very well. My friend used to live next to.
Did you wash the car?
No, I didn't wash his car. No, I wouldn't wash his car. Good God, no.
So they want to take that and just pump it up a little bit.
Because we looked
Yeah.
at this one here, didn't we?
Did we?
Yeah. We looked at this one as well.
And do you know what happens with that planning application?
I can look.
I don't know.
Was this one? Did we look at this one recently, or was this?
Not long ago.
Yes, I was on the committee, yeah? This one? Yeah.
Is there a block plan?
Block
Check,
plan.
just check. Are we looking? Which one are we looking?
Yeah, it's the one behind the gate.
You
yeah.
sure?
Yeah, pull it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's sort of off the end of the street.
Yeah.
So, well, Heather's suggested recommend refusal. I don't feel quite so.
No.
I'm happy to be swayed, I don't mind.
Yep. Didn't think so. Expressed
I mean, I think it's
No?
mainly just because of it being a bungalow, compatibility with the original building.
Got planning permission?
Yeah, but hang on, when that, I
Yeah,
thought,
this year.
oh, this year?
Yeah. 11th of March, it's given.
Do you just want to get an elevation up then, so we just know what they've got?
Did we approve it?
I don't think we liked it.
Didn't we?
No.
I can remember the picture, but I don't know what they...
We'll just get an elevation. There's a few comments there.
I don't know much known as well.
Lots of objections, gosh. I didn't think there was any objections to this one.
Just PDF it.
If only I could at home.
When you have to do anything, that's it. That's good.
Well, there's a precedent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly the same, really, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Should that sway us?
I'm sorry.
You know, if the district are minded to refuse things that we don't like, do you just get to that point you give in and say, oh,
Yeah.
Well, it certainly does help
There's
the fact that you've got something very similar next door, and then you end up with this situation where do you then look foolish by sticking to your guns, constantly sticking to your guns to find then that St Albans turn around, and you might find that this application will help the one next door.
But
Well,
if
yeah.
they refused this first time,
Yeah, they keep on refusing it, yeah. They've gone to appeal as well, which is interesting.
can you tell us if the last one, if this one went to appeal?
It was one, it
The one
was
that
supposed to be St Albans. This one here was just was agreed by St Albans. Didn't have to go to
But, you
appeal.
know, this is a bit neater. We don't have these dormers all over the place. It's a bit more,
Smaller, isn't it?
you know, these gable ends with a window in it is exactly the same as that one. You know, they have...
But again, this is more prominent, and the other one, hidden from view, appears to be from the street thing.
I mean, with Eastmoor Park, it's the houses here are quite right for developing them to bigger houses in the same kind of vein that we're seeing in West Common. They're just a few years behind the curve, I think, with the way West Common's been going to making their houses bigger and knocking them down, building them up again. So I think you'll probably begin to see this a lot more in Eastmoor Park. In terms of setting precedent, well, it probably will. But in terms of what David said, the dormer, they've all been changed to clear them up. So I don't think we should recommend refusal.
What would we like to say then?
Does that affect scale and bulk that much though?
I think, you know, yeah, these sort of ring, you know, almost like rings, aren't they?
I must admit, it was
Sticking out
an
there.
improvement.
It's much cleaner, as you say, there's less.
It's still just big, isn't it?
In terms
Yeah, I
of
mean, that's what,
amenities,
the height of the roof has remained the same. The roof design has changed.
Well, I don't quite know what's behind Harry.
what's behind it is it's kind of like there is a house, big house. I think the way it goes is you've got the house is
There's
here
a picture there, actually, picture
Have we?
the slight location
okay,
down
yeah.
there.
Yeah, so this is the house, yeah, and this is the big house at the back. So the road
The
from
road
East
looks
Common.
like it comes round here.
Yeah. The road from here. Which way is this the house? Yeah.
Yeah, this is the house. This
Yes.
is Eastmore Park.
Yes.
It looks like there's sort of another
Yes,
track
this
or
is,
road
this
that
is.
comes round.
So these are the big houses at the back, and the golf club is here. East Common is kind of like here, also
Right.
the cricket club, and then there's a field round about here, and the road. It's kind of like a little lane. It comes round and it veers round here. So there is a big sort of hedge slash trees foliage between these houses and this one. So it's not a lot of amenities, this one. The house is quite big grounds, each of these. So I'm not concerned about this purely because the gap is so big and there is foliage. So you can see.
There's nothing further.
Yeah,
than
you can
here,
see
really.
the foliage there, and then behind that foliage will be the neighbour's back garden.
So I think this might be, it says cloisters or something. That looks like it's, or cottons. That one must be cottons, so.
Okay.
And especially seeing it from that view, I'm less worried, to be honest, when you see what's just...
And these are houses on the other side of Eastmore Park, aren't they? They're not single-storey bungalow type.
No, they're houses.
they're definitely, they're almost like cat's eyes.
That's like another little inlet of it's more little cul-de-sac.
Okay, I understand my concerns, and so I've been.
Okay, yeah.
The committee recognised the changes that have been made to the design of the property, and consider. Now, what should we even say?
It's a conservation area, isn't it?
Just
Is it
about,
still there?
maybe it's on the borderline, I think.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah.
Yeah.
And consider.
Okay. Well, there's no loss of amenity, I'd say, to any of the properties around it. What about, are we going to mention
Well,
the
we're going to say
original character
something
of the building?
But then can we just capture, the committee was also mindful of the consent that has recently been given, for
One insurer, yeah.
120. And therefore, has no objection. And going back to consider, are we saying that we now consider this is an acceptable design for this part of the conservation area?
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Approved.
There's no issue of parking, I don't think.
No,
No, plenty. So, I mean, I've got the committee recognised that the changes made to the design and consider the proposal to be an acceptable form of development in this location.
No. Consider would not cause harm
Exactly.
to the character and appearance. Sorry, character. Not cause harm to this part of the Harpenden conservation area.
Well, the previous one, the SADC came up with, was that it's likely to cause overshadowing and has daylight facing bedroom windows that were 20.
Really?
I don't know if that's still right.
Well, they've got their
My reason is inadequate outlook from proposed bedroom 5. Yeah, one down 10, I think.
Yeah, this is existing on
Bedroom 5 is this one.
So that's
ground floor.
The reason is inadequate outlook from proposed bedroom 5, the residential amenities of future occupiers. Whether that was very different then. That
Is
was
bedroom 5 different, Pip, on the previous scheme? Because that's the new scheme there.
Yeah, no, will we?
Maybe I've just included the...
Why would they object to that?
Maybe it was a lot different.
Loss of daylight.
Inadequate outlook from proposed bedroom 5.
Well, I think we're sort of, I think we're there. Can we live with something like, the committee recognises changes in the nature of the design and
Consider it would not cause harm to the
would
hospital.
not
North
now,
facing garden, so the driveway is
Not now
south
cause
facing.
harm to the hospital corporation.
the committee was also minded of,
Sun will
Yes.
set on the left hand side, set in the west.
Maybe they changed this as well because that's a shower. There now. Maybe there's a window here as well
right,
beforehand.
right. Okay. 34 Wheat Hampstead Road, we recognise, well, I don't think we A or B, but I've certainly been involved in this. You're right.
Yeah. That's where you
Oh yes, next door neighbours, yeah.
No, it's working.
So,
They're
this
coming
is,
back with something very, very different.
this is just a gable, front gable.
Yeah.
I
And
go past,
the other one's still pending though.
Yeah.
yeah. There aren't many that have gone the gable route along Wheat Hampstead Road so far, but there is a precedent.
They're basically building a tiny bit above the bedroom, so above the living room, to extend the bedroom.
They're not changing the ground floor, are they?
No, they're building above the existing living room. So I assume it's
That
got like
was
a little
the
bit of a bay or something at the moment.
No.
Yeah, it is.
They were very similar.
Okay, are we all happy with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Not required to comment, and then, oh gosh,
This one.
Station House.
Oh, yeah.
So, this is a little bit complicated because it has got permitted development to turn it into residential, but this application is to do with alterations to the building to accompany the implementation. Now, I don't know where the sort of line is drawn between that, but essentially the old sort of curtain walling design, they're proposing to use bricks to give it a sort of masonry facade, and that's principally what they're after in terms of approval. Well, it's certainly better than what's there, which is, of course, is a bit of an eyesore.
It's a rubbish heap.
It is.
Yeah, it was the Centella house, it was that office up till 1970 something. It's been a whole load of other things, and it was Barnfield.
College.
And
Looks like it's some massive
it is-
windows at the moment.
Well, Zenith Windows still there. Weren't Zenith Windows?
Did you work there as well?
No, did not work at Zenith Windows.
Yeah, that's not the existing that they're proposed, so.
Now, of course, there are other issues associated with, including the parking provision, which is round the back of Arden Grove.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's within our gift to comment on that, because by my reckoning there were 10 spaces for 12 flats.
Are they not going to do underground parking? Or is that not an option? Could they not do that too?
Well, this is basically the same building with just a different facade to it.
Yeah.
They've got permission for the change of use, basically. And yeah, they said they're just wanting to, under that, you can't make changes to the building, you have to.
They're basically making it slightly bigger all over, aren't they?
I don't think they're making it bigger.
I don't think
Are they changing the
they're
design?
obviously changing the layout, all the internal alterations, but that,
which was bound to happen, and they're improving the facade of the building with brickwork.
Pretty close at the moment. It's
car
awful.
parking, David, says that existing spaces are 26, proposed
Look at that.
25. However, I have a feeling that some of those relate to the shop.
Yeah.
So,
Because there certainly was a plan with
yes, there is.
in this pack, and I interpreted these hats for these.
Yeah, no, but then there's parking, and I wasn't 100% clear actually on where all of the parking was, because there's parking over here as well.
Do you want to have a look at this photo? This might explain it a bit more where the parking is.
Because I thought there was some underneath,
Oh, well,
but then
that's-
there's also a mention in the
That's all
floor
landscape.
plan. It's where they say car park level floor, i.e. the basement floor plan. To me, it looks like they're almost developing some of the existing parking space to become.
Well, no, I mean, they're taking...
That's the basement plan as it is at the moment. So there's obviously, these are pillars, aren't they? And there must have been parking underneath.
Right.
Yes, it says car park there, so that's the car park. But then when you look at the proposed, we've got this, the Costa Coffee, the day centre, and then this is community meeting point. And then this car parking over here is going to be developed as a two-bedroom apartment.
Right, so...
Right down, yeah. How many parking spaces are there at the moment? You say 10?
Well, they're
Well,
saying...
it's 26, and they're saying that what's going to be retained is 25.
Oh, so 25 parking spaces for 12 flats.
But what's on here?
No, I think some of that parking relates to, because the whole of this station masters or station house, whatever it is, also incorporates the shop.
Yeah, you pass the Chibos, you
So
not
that's Harpenden Town.
Yes, the little corner bit, the Costa Coffee, the community meeting point, and there's another one.
There's a charity shop.
So those two are part of station.
So what it says here is 10 number resident parking spaces.
Okay.
Remaining, here we go,
Remaining spaces retained by commercial
premises.
So in actual fact, there's only 10 spaces for 12 flats.
Which is deficient.
Except they're relying on the fact that this is bang by the station, and they're hoping that these are premises where residents don't need cars.
How much detail are we looking at actually in this?
Well, that's another question. But I think, I think we need to come to a view about the brickwork and the sort of cladding, and that to me is all about, this is sort of landmark location, quality of the materials, conservation area, and it all needs to look
in keeping.
And you don't really. It's very difficult from a computer graphic like that to get any sense of the detailing and the quality. So I think there's something about the planning officers needing to take that into account. But then I don't see why we shouldn't pitch in and say the committee was, however, disappointed to realise that only 10 spaces have been proposed for 12 flats.
Can we say... are they going to build any private cycling racks or stands?
They're in here.
They are. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because this one came.
Secure cycle rack 28. So it's okay.
That's
everyone can have
quite a lot. Yeah. Because that means they
That's
won't
two
have to
bikes.
use the ones out in the front. Of course, the coffee at the moment. So
They
they've
all
got
have
their own.
2 bikes and somebody else can have 3.
Yeah, I've got about 2 bikes at the moment. So.
The thing is though, right, the first application was for 12 flats. Then the next one was for 15.
Yeah, the numbers did change.
And that's now up still pending.
I remember one. This one was on.
So this is a fresh one,
Yeah.
The 12 flats.
isn't it? It's not just
And
a
one of
slight
the
amendment.
no, and I mean one of the issues I think that is if there are fewer flats, then the issue is not this flat in the undercroft. It must be somewhere else. So hang on, basement stairs. Right. Okay, so let's just focus. What do we want to say about the brickwork first and foremost?
Well, I think that's an improvement.
I mean, it is a massive improvement.
Yeah.
Let's face it, they're trying to work with a building that, it's got a flat roof already, so it's, you're not going to make it look architecturally. Can't even say that word.
It's actually the front door going to be in a different place.
new openings.
But I think it's going to be moved to the middle.
New openings, new refuse stores.
Let's see. Could you pass me that street view one? Thank you. Because it's over here.
Yeah,
so
okay.
it's moving to become there.
Don't know how they do that in relation to the station approach then, but what do you thought about that?
Well, because at the moment, this is all, it looks like to me that they're actually going to do something more with the, no, I just wanted, because this is sort of kind of all, it's down.
It slopes away
that's it, yeah.
from station road,
Yeah.
station approach down.
So unless they're going to do some sort of excavations of the, well, they're going to have to, surely.
Yeah.
Steps probably to go down.
Okay, so are we saying that, is everybody happy with the design?
Oh, very happy.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, so the committee is, the committee welcomes the approach to the brick elevations for this landmark location.
Within the conservation area?
Yeah. This landmark at the location close to Harpenden Station. However, the committee recognises the significance of specifying materials of a suitable quality for this site and conservation area.
Significance of specifying materials of a
Suitable quality for this site and the conservation area. And I think we should be sort of putting reliance
on the conservation area team.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
confident that the, sounds a bit patronising.
I put down as well that you're disappointed that insufficient parking.
Well, can we so we finished that bit off, but then going on from that, the committee was disappointed to note that only 10 residence parking spaces are proposed.
And they're predominantly two-bedroom flats this time as well.
For a development that will be predominantly predominantly provide two-bedroom accommodation. And questions whether the existing undercross parking should be converted into a habitable apartment. And maybe turn that the other way, it should be retained as parking, I don't know.
It should be retained as parking. That's good.
Now we're going to say on this basis we will be recommending refusal. Or do we know whether this, do we know whether this is all part of the prior application?
Well, no, because this is, it's got a proper reference to it, isn't it? Well, I mean, it says alterations to the buildings to accompany the implementation of what they were given permission for, so...
Proposal is to change the use of the existing vacant office.
Even when you change of use, surely you still have to provide parking. All they got was change of use.
Yes, they got the change of use, and then
Yeah, that's
it's
all they've ever
because of
had.
their...
I mean, to me, though, the change of use is the office accommodation, it's not the undercroft.
No.
That's how I would, logically,
Yeah.
whether that's up in law or not, I don't know.
I think a change of use just means that you can change what is going on
In theory or in principle,
Yeah.
you can
Yes.
change from office
what's
to
inside.
residential.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean to say you can put 50 flats
No.
in one office.
But then I don't know what the restrictions were or whatever for the, the old Sea Cargo House and whatever it was up at Thompson's Close. Because they were offices that were converted, weren't they?
Yeah,
You know the ones I mean, don't you?
Yeah, the one next to, just up from the
Just
spa,
on the breathing
and
space.
there, just up from the breathing
But they
space,
seem
they've
to
got
have
a car
retained
park.
all their car parking.
Yeah, but how much car parking did they have?
They had about
Quite
12
a lot.
spaces
Was
at
there?
least, I maybe counting in there, I walk past, but I see it's about half
I
dozen on
never
each
went
side of the
underneath, and
car
they
park.
had a barrier, didn't it?
But I mean, I would say
yeah.
75 square metres for a flat is quite large.
Is a way of
It's quite
tackling
like
this
a
to say that we don't support the conversion of the undercroft parking into additional residential accommodation?
Yes,
That's a
yes,
good way to
I
do
think
it.
that's the best way to go.
Okay, so the committee, we can keep this, the committee was appointed to note that only 10 residence parking spaces are proposed for a redevelopment that will predominantly be two-bedroom accommodation, and do you want me to say, and therefore do not support, or?
Full stop, therefore the committee does not support.
That's right.
The loss of further parking spaces.
Well,
Therefore, do not support.
the existing undercroft parking.
Or do you want to say that do not support the conversion of,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, support the conversion of the existing undercroft parking to accommodation, something like that?
Into an additional apartment. Because actually that would solve it. There's only 11 apartments there, plus this wodge of car parking underneath, plus this stuff that they were proposing to landscape.
And your little...
Well, you can leave the bike.
Yeah, your cycles and stuff.
Yeah.
Keeping that and your parking out here and whatever parking is
Yeah.
going on under there. Because they're not providing any visitor parking or anything like that, are they?
No.
So, now we might play around with that bit.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah? Okay. I
think
we're...
that-
Right. Oh,
Let's just have something to be done with the site. We had no end of complaints from people. It's so difficult because it wasn't in our jurisdiction to get all the rubbish sorted and burning and all else. Yeah. Well, yeah, we had contacted the landlord and all sorts.
Tip outside the front, isn't it?
okay, so replacement windows in the conservation area at Avenue St Nicholas, presumably they're all equal standards.
Absolutely, yeah. There was windows and door materials are being replaced like for like.
Okay, then we come to number 2, Barn Dean. Now you asked us to consider
Yeah,
this.
this one I think this one I started to run out of time, unfortunately, with Easter. It sounds like an excuse, but I did run out of time a little bit, so no, that one I did want you to look at, but one of them I've looked at in the end and felt differently.
I've got 2 letters of objection written to district councillors on
Right,
Westwood
okay.
councils here, and they basically summing them up. They are objecting their adjacent properties, and one says overdevelopment. It's a 2. They're going for 4-bedroom houses, but it looks as what they're saying it's more likely 5 bedrooms that they would be because it's a laundry room and another room.
There's a laundry upstairs. It's a bit weird.
And they then refer to the highways aspect. Berkshire Highways I don't know whether you do know this, but it's a huge dip as you come.
Yeah, it drops down, doesn't it?
Drop down.
Townsend
The Elverdale Lane,
yeah.
and when you rise up to Townsend, it is quite a danger there actually. Without fearing, I've realised I've been on the side of the road there, and so they worry about the parking provision, bear in mind that it's, they think it should more be treated as a 5-bedroom house. Because of staggered crossroads, and they fear this the parking problem again.
Okay, I mean, I looked at this and, they're knocking down one house and putting 2 big houses in its stead. I have to say that the design I thought was out of character with the street scene.
Yes.
So I wasn't talking. I thought the plans were shocking. I think this might deserve a rap over the knuckles for the quality of the plans, to be honest, as well. But so I didn't like it. Are we in expressing concern territory, or do we feel a bit more strongly?
I think that I can do that.
I go with it on this refusal
So
personally.
overdevelopment, if I just make some notes, overdevelopment site,
Street scene.
Certainly there's it's a sort of discordant, it's not compatible with the street scene.
Street scene.
There's no variation in the design between the two properties. There's no sort of interest. There's just these 2 pointy-headed properties in the middle of gable-roofed, wimpy houses.
that's design.
Yeah.
It's almost like
Parking, what sort of parking arrangements have we got here?
Everybody gets a garage. They get a single garage.
so are they five bedroom really?
Existing 2, there's only actually given 2 to each.
Hoping that's it.
Okay, so
Even if they're 4 bedrooms.
insufficient for 4, at least 5 bedrooms.
What have we got in terms of amenity space? Sometimes they try and cut a bit
Well, they're
short
quite
on that.
apart.
No, I mean, if we're getting rid of 1 and replacing it with 2,
Oh,
what sort of
okay,
amenity? Yeah, right.
And that laundry room
I know, it's a bit weird. I thought, what do I do with that?
Well, it's justification for putting the plumbing up there, presumably.
Access for one of the properties will be from Alders End Lane, not from...
Oh, right, well, the Alders End Lane is, because it's just on the corner here,
Yes.
the Alders End Lane is probably at the back here.
I didn't see that, I must admit. No, the garages are both pointing forwards. And,
It's there.
yeah, but the...
foliage down the side.
So what did you say, the objection came from 1 Alders End
Yes,
Lane?
it's come from, well, someone in Bonstein actually. The
Oh.
driveway of the corner house is not shown on the plans, but I assume that access will be from Alders End Lane.
Well, it
In
might
that
be.
case, cars will have to be driven by the side of the house and then across the front of the house.
Yeah, it's just not
Not
good.
clear, is it,
It's
really?
not good.
Have we got one of these funny sharing ones again?
There's 2
Could be.
floors on, isn't there?
Like we had in
Well, that's what
Luton
it
Road?
is,
Yeah.
because they've got 1 garage each.
So they're coming up here, so
Yeah.
you've got
One
parking
each.
here, and they'll have a little path that goes...
Right. And so can we just put as a final point, the committee is disappointed with the quality of the plan?
Yes.
Not very clear.
Because they had to do that, because they'd never get away with a crossover that close to the junction, so...
That's
No.
right, that's what I was implying.
See, the garages are both on the same side. So the garages are both there and there. So how does that work?
And I can say inaccurate.
Well,
Well, they say if you've got how...
They're unclear, it's not inaccurate necessarily.
I just expressed a certain quality of the
Yes.
and quality and clarity of the plan. Right, let's press on then.
Recommend refusing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then we go to Kirkdale Road, where Albans had previously refused. So this is an angled plot at the back end of Kirkdale. This is a bungalow, sort of chalet.
We looked at the last scheme.
Yeah.
We had no problem with it.
I mean, it's difficult to tell the level on this, but you're saying no objection subject to previous reasons.
Yes, I mean,
okay.
I've got HC
Yeah.
had no problem with the original proposal. Roof height and design had been changed, stroke reduced.
Yeah. Okay, so happy with Heather's recommendation there, and I guess also happy with Overton Road as well. The issue of the parking rather than going up into the roof and the doors.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we've got Claygate Avenue. So this is dropping and then replacing. Quite tight on the plot, hip roof form, but its relationship with the ridges on each side were, I thought, okay. I could live with it. But
Okay.
where were you? Heather?
Well, I started to run out of time with this. Demolition existing style will be different from the others stroke neighbouring properties, filling the footprint stroke coming forward, going into the roof, more contrived roof form style than original. It's just
So going from that,
I've questioned the roof height on this, so whether they've got a street thing where they show it from.
but there's the street theme, so it is higher.
Well, it's high already, isn't it?
well, it is actually, yeah, but it's taking a hiccup rather than.
Just felt that it was quite a lot. So filling the footprint.
There's still going to be room down the side, one side too, there's a sort of metre down one side, I think, isn't
Yeah,
it?
these existing doors.
There's a roof light on the front, but then there's a dormer on the back. These ones back onto the Nicky line, I presume.
Yeah, it's like that, isn't it?
Even closer to the sports hall. I, on balance, was relaxed, but I'd be interested in others' views. So, ridge height, roof form, fit onto the plot, rear projection, is there anything that... Oh, okay, so the...
What's in between the houses? Is it full? Is it hedges or what?
That looks like a fly.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be high, yeah.
So would there be a problem with the building coming up to the edges of the boundary edges, or?
It's on the edge on that side,
Yeah.
but then there's a metre or so on the other side.
Yeah, and they're quite, the houses are quite, let's see.
Is that
apart from
because,
each
have
other.
they increased that there then, or is that the boundary line anyway? Sorry, whether they...
How do you mean that?
Well, obviously there's a gap between these houses,
Yeah.
but we don't know where the boundary, whether the
Is there not a
boundary...
fence there?
There's something. Well, the looks of things, the line is existing, it goes, from what I can see on here, this sort of hatched line shows existing.
Yeah,
And that is,
it's the same as this, but there's a tiny bit of garage.
That's it, yeah, you can see it here,
Exactly
drawn.
like this, like a...
That hatched line is
Right.
existing.
What is this thing here? It's not.
It's a porch.
Oh,
There's
okay.
a side door.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes
Canopy.
sense. Yes, canopy,
Yes.
yes, there's a side door. Yeah.
So, I mean, the other thing that
Right,
this
yeah.
illustrates is that they've taken it to the max in terms of the first floor element just fits in 45 degrees, whereas at ground floor there is this sort of skirt that goes all the way around to give a bit more accommodation on the ground floor. So, you know, they're pushing the boundaries, undoubtedly, and the question is it just a bit too much, or is it...
But they're still within the boundaries, though. Are they pushing it, or are they just within?
Well, on the 45-degree rule, they're on the outside, they're just on the line. Okay, so they've gone back as far as they can, and they've obviously gone up to the boundary on this side as far as they can.
Yeah.
So they couldn't go any further back, but they've taken this first floor element further back, just a couple of roofs up above what presumably the plan kitchen downstairs.
Well, the thing is, in the same way, obviously, we picked up on the street scene in the Eastmore Park, is this actually any different in that respect? To my mind, it's an improvement, actually, in
Yeah, I'd say
design,
so.
but it's still going to fit in a road. I mean, I don't know if there's been any changes in this road already.
So you've got a flat roof bit there as well. Like the garage.
There's more on Townsend Lane. Townsend Lane has gone with all these old sort of ways, the Wimpy, haven't they? Some people have told me. Townsend Lane has become more varied, including the sort of funky rendering and white render.
We've had knockdowns, demolitions, and we rebuilt.
Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah.
I agree with Pip. I do think that looks better than that, because that kind of design, the garage and then the flat roof, it's
very uniform.
very uniformed, it's a bit bland.
Okay, well, if you're happy with it, I mean, I just thought, well, I'll let you look at it. And
I'll just close that window.
So if you want to say no objection, you're feeling cold?
Well, a little bit.
Well, don't want you getting flu again?
No.
I might need you in 4 weeks' time.
Provided.
Yeah. No look at me, you see.
Right, okay, then we've got Hollywood Lane again.
Yep, open.
And I don't know if you've seen, is that the heritage statement there, Michael?
Yes, I've got the heritage statement here.
So they've submitted this heritage statement. So, St Albans said last time, the proposal by reason of the demolition of a locally listed building and insufficient justification provided for this would be detrimental to the character and appearance as part of the conservation area. So they've now submitted a heritage report which says that this was built as a stable in the 1870s, was probably converted to residential in the 50s, 1950s, and they see no merit, and they quoted some other examples as well.
Not a lot in there, but I can relate a little bit to that. As you probably recall, I went on quite a bit about this one because I knew the property about 1970. I don't think we need change anything at all from what we have said before, because the same conditions apply. All that's happened is that this turned up on a few hours before the Plans North meeting, and so it wasn't considered.
Right.
And because none of the committee members had seen the thing, and it was far too late to be done.
Right.
And so Mr. Scott Moore, who spoke here, but he left rather miffed, but it couldn't be done. So, but what we're looking at is exactly what we
Looked at before.
So I would have thought that without further ado, we would just
I did repeat the words.
repeat the words, and in my call-in, which I will do, it hasn't been called in, but I will call it in, but I will make a reference to this.
So you're going to call it in if minded to refuse, are you?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
I mean, it's a bit of a story thing, the fair's there now, isn't it? I mean, it's right next door.
You've got street signs.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you remember this one, Pip?
You see it when you
Yeah, you've gone over the railway bridge,
Just
just
I remember you spoke.
St George's is just over here, and you come over the railway bridge. I mean, it's right next to the railway line.
It is dangerous, and there's one other thing, that it doesn't comply with the modern regulations for building close adjacent to a railway line. It is 2 metres closer to a line as it should be.
This is not where you live, but you viewed it to maybe...
Yes,
Yes.
I didn't want to go back into that one. I was offered the property for 7,000.
Well, I remember him saying when he presented before that the lady who lived there died, and so whether there are executors dealing with it or...
The last couple of weeks I noticed border.
Notice what?
The border So,
Yeah. Oh well.
Or subject to whatever.
Okay, so we're happy to repeat what we said last time.
Yep.
Okay. Right, 7B Rosebery Avenue. You suggested no objection.
Yeah. Public compliance they described, so there appears to be ample space here to accommodate the rear extension, there is sufficient parking, roads and different designs throughout, in keeping with the street theme and not locally listed. The name of one thing.
I did have a look at this. I mean, it's a much better design than the previous one. We didn't. No, I don't think I would have got from that because I wouldn't have liked it anyway. It was yeah, by a certain architect, and it was just characteristic of that architect, I think.
What's this one up here?
The previous one. So
Yeah, they were demolishing it before then.
yeah, but we had no objection.
Right,
I certainly
okay.
wasn't involved with it. Okay, now the only thing that concerns me is the rear elevations, which are still a bit of a dog's breakfast, I think, but it's much better on the street scene. And so who am I to worry unduly about the rear elevations? It's got these gables going up 2 stories. So from the front, it's not unattractive. There's colour and fenestration going on, but these gables going all the way up through the roof form.
very strange.
And I'm not surprised because this is a different architect. So he thought he picked up the themes in the previous one. But anyway, that's the side elevations. Okay, I'm happy to live with no objection if that's what others are.
Yep.
Wow, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's one we can watch.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where that gets to.
Try and help you with my percentage. I want percentages. You're doing well.
I've had a day of percentages where
Have you? Oh, okay.
we're within a whisker of having all the schools in Hertfordshire 90% school of right standing. So,
You're going to say full then.
Well, the schooling
and so
facilities.
24 Amon Lane.
Yeah, this one I did run out of time, so I said run out of time to delegate before the agenda went out. Addition of a basement, good sized plots to accommodate the proposal. Street has a number of large, straight developed houses in the conservation area and is locally listed. However, I did have no objection to be notice of amenity to the neighbours and appropriate design use of materials on this locally listed building and conservation area.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
They're quite
I
nice
basically, I
plots as
did.
well,
Unfortunately, I started to run out of time and I was
Now, having said all that, I haven't looked at this last one. So this is 53, 55 High Street.
Yes, this is where the old Barnfield Hair Academy
yes.
It used to be Towergate, financial...
Next to
Towergate,
Gibson and Power.
the insurance
Yes.
company and everything
Yeah,
else.
so it's essentially that sort of double fronted shop.
Okay, so
And-
it's A2 at the moment.
Yes, they're wanting it to become a cafe.
Bit of a competition for the one just up.
Well, we've got three,
No,
we've
but
got
let's come-
on the way to Lidicum.
So it's Lily Lounge, isn't
Lily
it?
Lounge,
It's
yeah,
going to be a rival. So it's an open plan restaurant with this serving bar thing in the middle, I suppose. They don't stipulate what sort of food they're proposing to...
Thai food, hopefully.
Why are you missing the
Vouch
whole
for
to the
Thai
whole?
food.
I suspect...
No.
I suspect
More
that the
Thai
application has come from Mr. Mario Aliotta. I think it might be Italian.
Another Italian.
And the company's called I Love Food.
Oh,
There you go.
not very Thai.
Oh no, hang on a moment. Opening of a coffee shop straight restaurant. Change of use from A2 to A3.
Oh, so it will be a kind of cross
It
between
could be.
and some of the places
could
like
be,
Silver
mightn't
Palette.
it?
It'd be a little bit
No,
like that maybe.
no,
Another one.
we'll ask Michael in a second. I mean, my preference would be to see this as A1 retail. You know, that's what our high street should be about first and foremost. However, all our coffee shops, most of our restaurants are extremely popular. They do play an important part within the high street. We did have rules about switching out of A1, didn't we? But this is not A1 at the moment. So
no, this is financial. The difficulty is that how long is it? It's probably got to be at least a year, hasn't it, Mike? That Barnfield College left and it has been laying empty.
But the main thing here is football again. If it's a retail unit A1, that will be our main worry, as David would say. But this was an insurance place where there was hardly any footfall. People
would go there specifically for a reason.
I don't see that reason for objection applies. Talking to the people down there from We and the other places, they were hoping that something like Pret-a-Manger or something more would go down there.
It's difficult because they don't stipulate what the nature of the food is going to be. Well, I don't know. I love food. I mean, is that
I've not heard of that.
And a restaurant thing is a different aspect of the thing. What we're looking at is basically an extended coffee shop other area. Again,
it's going to be a little bit like
Ocker opposite the road.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that, as I said, if you were, as my recent survey I looked at, and just keeping an eye on it, not your full survey, is that 75 between, say, 10:30 and midday, the places are nearly all 75% full. That implies that it's good for football, it's good for keeping people in town. It certainly worked in Southdown. It's made it a much better place to shop and has benefited the retail, the units and things that are down there. So because it's packed with mothers and things and different times of day, different people.
So are you saying essentially, Mike, by having something like this up that end, it would encourage people to go up there?
So if you say yes, I have no objection whatsoever. From just the retail experience as well, it's football again.
Okay.
Yeah, because it is quite a neglected area that has been in the past. My hairdresser's is just next to them,
Gibson and Powell,
and they moved in last year at some point, and that place beforehand I think was empty for a while, so it's slowly getting redeveloped.
Things have changed. There was change over the last 20 years in favour of going. First of all, I introduced a coffee shop above our store, which was the best thing possible. Then I fought against, they were holding back against the Blue Hoarded Bill, which is now Pizza Express. They held back on that for years and years and years, saying it's got to be retail, it's got to be retail. It hasn't worked that way. And in fact, the retail operations at that end of the high, although you haven't got much, because you've got Ashton, Balkers, Ashton, Enco, they've benefited really by having a Cafe Nero as well. So my view on this one is
okay. I mean, I had no objection. I mean, the thing that worries me is that clearly when a shop has remained empty for such a long period of time, that there's an issue.
Well, that was an issue concerned down south down with Cafe Aroma, which was the post office before, and that became vacant for a long time.
I must admit, I'm a bit concerned about Leighton Road actually, because we've got a few along there now that have remained empty. I mean, Godshaw's left, nothing's gone in there. The old Gibson and Powell shop, that still remains empty.
That is very true. There's another angle to this.
Some weeks it's filled, other weeks it's empty.
But you've got another angle to this. That's the monopoly landlord. And they will not drop the rents at all, because if they do, the value of the overall property, the overall value of the whole asset will drop by X million pounds.
But we don't know if that's the same issue here,
No, it isn't.
Okay, so let's say no objection. And I mean, do you want us to go further, Mike, and say we welcome?
I would prefer that, because I would like to see officers will have a negative view initially here.
Try and pick holes.
Yes.
So, recognising that this is recognising this is a conversion from A2 to A3, in brackets, rather than A1 to A3.
Is it not? Yes, that's right, yes, we do.
The committee welcomes this restaurant and cafe use and recognise the potential contribution it will make to
Immediate part of Harpenden.
increasing footfall
Yes, I like that.
in this part of the town centre.
Yep.
Right, there are then a couple of
Thank you.
a couple of appeals to note, and then there are the lists of weekly decisions. Are we happy to note those?
I think just
At that
note
stage, I think we're ready to close the meeting.
Okay, so
Thank you.
meeting closed at 10:11.